Hi, this is Dan Cortopassi of TSG Multimedia. Today I'm reviewing an HO scale Santa Fe 3800 class 210-2 from Broadway Limited. This model represents the modernized version as it appeared in the 1940s and 50s. This particular engine has a switcher pilot. This model has an MSRP of $399.99. The model includes a wrench for removing the side rods if you have to, and also a spare set of traction tires. The engine has really nice detail. All of the writing on the builder's plate on the smoke box is legible. There are freestanding grab irons and lots of piping on the locomotive. There's good rivet detail on the tender. The paint is very smooth and evenly applied. All of the other lettering is very crisp and readable. The front of the model has a lot of detail, including more freestanding grab irons, an uncoupling lever, number plate below the headlight, and non-functional marker lights. One thing I noticed is that the uncoupling lever doesn't seem to want to stay down in the right position. Not a really big deal, but it would be kind of nice if it wasn't up like that. I really like the fact that this engine has a working coupler on the front. The front knuckle coupler is mounted at the correct height. The locomotive has a full cab interior with good detail and also crew figures. The rear of the locomotive has a flexible deck plate, and underneath that is the plug where the cord from the tender plugs in. The front of the tender has pretty good detail, even though it's hard to see when the locomotive is fully assembled. The rear of the tender includes a lot of nice detail. It has uncoupling levers, a train line air hose, freestanding grabs, ladders, and a non-functioning red backup light. The regular backup light is functional. The coupler on the rear of the tender was low according to the Katy coupler height gauge. The detail on the top of the locomotive is pretty good. There's a bell that moves. It's got the Santa Fe number boxes, smokestack, and good dome detail. There is a bit of a molding parting seam down the middle. That's not too noticeable. I really like the whistle cord that runs into the cab of the engine. That's a nice touch, and it seems to be a little bit flexible, so hopefully it'll be durable. There's also some nice piping and other details on the top. The tender hatch detail and railings are really good, very nicely done. The model includes a pair of alternative extended smokestacks, one open and one closed. On the engineer's side of the model, under the cab, there's a switch. The switch is there to turn the smoke unit on and off. The model has pretty good underbody detail. I like all of the brake system parts, which are kind of cool looking. The engine seems to be set up to pick up power from the main drivers only, not from the lead truck or the trailing truck. The center driver has blind flanges, probably to help the model go around curves. The prototype may have also been that way, I'm not sure. All of the wheels are in gauge according to the NMRA standards gauge. There are traction tires on the last driver. The engine by itself weighs 14.7 ounces. The bottom of the tender includes good brake rigging detail. If you look closely, you can see that the bottom is perforated, and there are two speakers in there. All of the wheels are set up to pick up power from the track, and they were all in gauge according to the NMRA standards gauge. The tender by itself weighs 5.9 ounces. If this were a freight car, the NMRA recommended weight would be 3.6 ounces. This locomotive is equipped with Broadway's Paragon-Sound sound system decoder. This is a dual-mode decoder, so it will run on DC or DCC. I'm running it on DCC, and I'm going to start it off with the sound off so that we can see how it runs just mechanically. I can detect just a little bit of a bind as I'm watching it run. It's not too bad, so I'll try turning the sound on. driver chuff sync seems pretty good. Whoops. I had to stop it. I've noticed that the drawbar from the engine hangs down a little low, and sometimes it lets go of the tender. The decoder also has a number of other sounds that you can operate with function keys. It has blowdown. There's a water fill. It's hard to hear some of these because the engine seems to generate some of these sounds randomly as it's sitting there. There's also some keys that generate radio chatter.
Okay, minute equipment are in the clear. That's correct, sir. Maximum authorized speed, sir, over. Thank you, sir. We're ready.
And there are a number of other sounds that you can operate with the function keys. So the way the decoder is set up, the headlight is on dim when the engine is stopped, and then when it starts to move, it gets brighter. So this is stopped, and then I'll just crack the throttle to the first setting. The rear light works the same way when the locomotive is in reverse. It's dim when it's stopped, and then when I crank the throttle to the first notch, it'll get brighter. Overall, I think this is a really nice model. I'm sure any fans of Santa Fe steam would love to have one of these. As I said before, the mechanism does seem to have a very slight bind, but it's really not that bad, and it may actually be slight enough that it'll work itself out as the locomotive is run in. I'm also a little bit concerned about the drawbar letting go of the tender. Looks like it just needs to be bent up a little bit so that it engages the pin on the tender a little more positively. That and the bind or, some minor mechanical problems. I don't think that's worth taking a spike off for those, but it is something to think about. I also like the fact that Broadway has included some documentation on the decoder that's pretty extensive, which is nice because sometimes manufacturers don't do that and it makes it harder to figure out what's what. I am going to take off one spike for the coupler height being wrong, so my final verdict is 9 out of 10 spikes. If you or your company make a product that you'd like us to review, please drop us a line at reviews@tsgmultimedia.com.